Let's be honest with each other for a second. You're probably tired. Not just physically, but mentally. Like your brain is running a dozen tabs too many, constantly buffering, flickering between tasks, trying to focus, and not quite getting there. You might even catch yourself blaming it on your schedule, your workload, your life. And sure, those things matter. But what if I told you the real culprit might be something far more subtle? You're not bored enough. Yeah, you heard me right. Boredom, the thing we've been conditioned to avoid at all costs, might actually be the secret to better focus, sharper thinking, and deeper creativity. And no, I'm not talking about laziness or zoning out for hours. I'm talking about intentional, quiet moments that feel boring on the surface, but underneath, they're rewiring your brain for better performance. Let's unpack this. We are addicted to stimulation. First, a little truth about modern life. We never let ourselves be bored anymore. The moment there's a gap, at the stoplight, in line at the grocery store, during the commercial break, we reach for a screen. Just 5 seconds of nothingness, and our reflex is Instagram, TikTok, email, Slack, that YouTube video we've seen 10 times. It's become so automatic we don't even realize we're doing it. But here's the catch. That constant stimulation, it comes with a cost. It fractures your attention. It wears out your focus muscle. It leaves your brain jittery and starved for real rest. You know those times when you feel like you've been working all day, but nothing actually got done? That's not a productivity problem. That's a recovery problem. The lie of the digital break. A lot of us think we're taking breaks when we scroll or swipe or binge little videos, but those aren't breaks. They're digital pacifiers. They give our brain a short hit of dopamine, a quick jolt of stimulation, but they don't actually allow our minds to rest. It's like eating candy when you're starving. You get a burst of energy, sure, but then you crash, hard. Real rest looks very different. It's unplugged, unstructured. It can feel a little boring, but that's exactly the point. The magic of doing nothing. Here's where it gets interesting. When you allow yourself to get bored, genuinely bored, you're not shutting your brain off. You're giving it space. And in that space, something powerful starts to happen. Your brain begins to do what neuroscientists call default mode thinking. That's the mode where ideas are formed, where memories are consolidated, where your creative thinking and problem-solving skills get supercharged without effort. You know those brilliant ideas that hit you in the shower, or during a walk, or while staring out a window? That's the power of boredom. That's your brain finally getting the quiet it needs to do its best work. You don't need more time. You need better recovery. We tend to think that if we just had more hours in the day, we'd get more done. But let's be real, if your brain is fried, those extra hours won't help. You'll just waste them. What you actually need is sharper focus in the time you already have. And sharper focus doesn't come from grinding harder. It comes from giving your mind room to breathe. Think of your brain like a battery. If you never let it recharge, eventually it drains. And scrolling social media or multitasking doesn't recharge it. It just keeps it in low power mode. Boredom, on the other hand, is like plugging it into a fast charger. So, what does a boring break look like? Let me paint the picture. You set your phone down. You don't check your inbox. You don't open another tab. You just sit. Maybe stare out the window. Maybe go for a walk with no music, no podcast, just your thoughts. That's it. It sounds almost too simple, but that's the point. You're not feeding your brain stimulation. You're giving it the rarest thing in the modern world: silence, stillness, a moment to reset. Even just 10 minutes of this kind of break can dramatically change how your mind functions for the rest of the day. What happens after a few days of real rest? If you stick with it, just 10 minutes a day, you'll start to notice subtle but undeniable shifts. Ideas come more easily. You procrastinate less. Your brain feels less foggy. You make decisions faster. You enjoy hard tasks more. You get into flow states without forcing it. In short, You stop dragging your mind through the day like a dead weight. You start working with it instead of against it. And here's the wild part. You might actually begin to crave those quiet, boring moments. Not because you're tired, but because you realize how powerful they are. You feel the difference. You like how your mind works afterward. This isn't woo-woo. It's neuroscience. Now, if this all sounds like some fluffy self-care advice, let me be clear. This is not about bubble baths and journaling by candlelight. This is about performance, mental performance. Research shows that when the brain is constantly stimulated, it loses its ability to self-regulate. That means more distractions, less discipline, more emotional reactivity, and lower productivity. But when you let yourself be bored, even briefly, you activate deeper neural networks responsible for insight, memory, and creativity. It's like updating your brain's operating system, and it doesn't require effort, just space. How to start. Make boredom a habit. So how do you build this into your day? Start small. Try one of these. 10-minute silent walk. No phone. Sit on a park bench and just look around. Drink your coffee without checking your phone. Stare out the window while your brain resets. It doesn't need to be dramatic. You don't have to become a monk. Just pause the input long enough for your brain to catch up. And if it feels uncomfortable at first, that's normal. We're so used to being stimulated every second that boredom feels almost painful. But lean into that discomfort. On the other side is clarity. You're coming back online. Let yourself be bored. Let your brain breathe. It's not just a break, it's your edge. Comment below, I promise, if you're gonna force yourself to be better tomorrow, no matter what it takes.